Welcome to the We Lose Once Again Fest.
Hey there guys, my name is Skymin and welcome to Medic Mondays. Today, in light of the re-edition of Medieval Mode into Valve servers under the alternative servers, I thought it'd be a good idea to go over Medic and his role in the game mode. However, first I will be going over the basics of Medieval Mode since, as you know, it's slightly different than normal. Released in the 2010 Australian Christmas, Medieval Mode restricts all mercenaries into a set list of allowed weapons that mainly focuses on melee. In addition to the weapon restriction list, two main additions to the gameplay mechanics were added into Medieval Mode. These include the players dropping small health kits and weapons upon death, and third-person mode can actually be enabled without the use of SV_cheats by using the command TF_medieval_third-person1. So if you want to go ham in third person, feel free to. In fact, melee is a little bit easier in third person in my opinion. If you're interested in a full list of weapons that are allowed in Medieval Mode, head on over to the wiki as it's got a comprehensive list of everything that is allowed and everything that is restricted. The only things that are not restricted in the slightest are melee weapons. All melee weapons can be used. However, most guns are all gone because, you know, medieval times, there weren't guns. Even though De Groot Keep is said to be actually a fair and not the mercs traveling back in time, but you get the point. Now, Medic in Medieval Mode is actually one of the more useful classes as he has access to one of the very few projectile weapons, that being the Crusaders Crossbow. Now, the Medic's primaries of the syringe guns and the Crusaders Crossbow, the crossbow is the only one that works because medieval times! Yes, none of the syringe guns work. Your crossbow is your only option, and it is by far the best option in my opinion, but I go by the meta main of medics. The crossbow not only allows you to kill your teammates, but it allows you to damage your opponents from afar. And in a mode where there's very few projectiles, this is very, very helpful. The mediguns, on the other hand, completely disabled. Can't use any of them. Why? Again, medieval. Medigun didn't exist, you can't Uber people, plus that would be incredibly strong if you were able to Uber, say, a Demo Knight going at it at the other team because he'd just be able to wipe everyone out. Now the melees are where the choices really come in. Right off the bat, you have two completely useless melee weapons, those being, ironically, the Ubersaw and the Bonesaw. Normally pretty good out in the normal game, especially the Ubersaw being the main choice for medic mains. Both of these are completely useless. Why? Because you can't use your Ubercharge. Ubercharge is not a thing in Medieval Mode. So the upsides to these two weapons are completely null and void because you can't use them. So my advice is just completely stay away from both the Ubersaw and Bonesaw when playing in Medieval Mode, as there is no point in using them and is actually a detriment to yourself. The Amputator is good for keeping yourself alive with that extra little heal point that'll kick in if you don't take damage. However, it's not the greatest for attacking because it's got the lower damage ratio, so if you want to be a support medic, all to you. It's a good support medic weapon, as you can taunt and heal everyone around you, however you will be vulnerable. But as for attacking, if you want to go sort of a battle medic, I would not suggest this one, as you will probably end up dying to a crit first before you get a crit, because that's all Medieval Mode is crits out the wazoo. Whoever gets the crit first is probably gonna win. The Bonesaw is the safest melee weapon for the medic to use, as it is the most vanilla, most balanced, and has no perks and no downsides. If you don't want any of the other weapons and any of what might be a detriment to you, I would suggest using the Bonesaw, as again it is the safest to go with. Last but not least, and my personal preference, is the Solemn Vow. The only downside to the Solemn Vow is a measly 10% swing speed reduction. Now, this really isn't bad. Why? Because melee is all about timing and praying to Lord Gaben that your hit registers. And the upside to it is just so much better. You are able to see your enemy team's health. So any enemy that you see, maybe you see a demo man with 40, you're like, oh, I could take him out in one swing. So that means you can engage in a fight with him and, have a good chance of winning. It's really good for gauging whether or not you can win a fight or you can't win a fight. And if you happen to do callouts with people, because I don't know who does callouts in Medieval Mode, but you can be like, hey, that sniper has 60 health, someone go chop his head off, or something like that. But the Solemn Vow, in my opinion, is probably the best option for Medic, since Medic is all about being a team player, even though you are playing Battle Medic technically, but you get the point. Now that that's out of the way, I kind of just want to talk about my personal thoughts on Medieval Mode. Yes, it is a mode that's been out for about 5 years, but Valve seems to have kind of brought it back along with all the other alternative quote-unquote game modes that they've shoved into those server lists. However, medieval mode does have its issues. It has a lot of issues. My main gripe with it is that random crits are turned on, and as everyone should know, Melee has a higher rate of getting random critical hits. Random crits are fair and balanced. Yeah, this mode doesn't need to have random crits turned on at all, because somebody could be doing really, really well and just get taken out by a random crit by some random player. Just completely taken out by a random crit. Specifically, there are certain melee items that shouldn't be given random crits. The main one that I think a lot of people will agree with me on are the killing gloves of boxing. The killing gloves of boxing have a gimmick where if you get a kill, you get a 100% critical chance rate for 5 seconds. It shouldn't have critical hits because one random critical hit will allow them to have full crits for 5 seconds. Plus, the killing gloves of boxing are really a pain to fight in medieval mode. But on note of the classes themselves, there are some classes that are almost completely useless. I think the most useless one being Engineer. Some people say Pyro, but I think Pyro does have a point, and it's actually the one mode where the Sharpened Volcano Fragment actually does pretty well. Not gonna lie, I enjoy using the Sharpened Volcano Fragment in medieval mode, but only medieval mode, because it's the only source of setting people on fire, and it can be very helpful. But classes like Engineer, who's degraded down to the wrench, he can't do anything. There's always a better choice. But on the other hand, you got classes like Sniper, Medic, and Demo Knight, who are just amazing. Specifically Demo Knight, because Demo Knight is a melee class. He's built around melee. Demo Knights can be a pain to take care of, but they're not that bad. If you know how to take care of them, you can take care of them. So I'm hoping that Valve may be looking to add some new maps to medieval mode, or maybe retweaking it just as a little side update, because they've brought it back and a lot of people who are just discovering it for the first time really like it, because it is a lot of fun. It's really different. And do I even need to talk about the filter in the chat, because that thing can get pretty funny sometimes. But as of now, the only official map we've got is De Groot Keep. And there are actually some really, really good community-made maps that I can't find at the moment. I apologize. My server list doesn't like to find any of the servers or maps that I want to find. But there are some really cool ones. I've seen some payloads. King of the Hill, I think, is probably the best option for medieval mode. And I kind of wish Valve would bring it back, or maybe the community would kind of revive it a little bit, since it's getting some attention along with Hydro. But Hydro is a whole different story. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think medieval mode needs to be tweaked, what it needs to be added, what needs to be removed, and also tell me what you guys like to use on medieval mode as loadouts themselves. Not necessarily for every class, maybe for a specific class, but you know, tell me what you like to play, because I'd like to see what people's opinions are on stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, I just wanted to give a really quick thank you, a huge thank you for everyone that's donated. I didn't ever think I would be getting this much stuff during the making of this video, so seriously, thank you all so much. I never expected this. Your donations go towards helping the creation of videos such as unboxing ones, which there is one planned, as well as being given back to the community in giveaways. Now you're probably wondering why there are monetary donations, and that is because I have opened up donations on Twitch while streaming. There are incentives for you guys to donate, and if you would like to support me, that'd be fantastic. The incentives can be found on my Twitch page, which is in the description below. And again, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a great day and enjoy the rest of the outro, if you're still here. What the hell? I'm sorry, what? He has 3 hands.